This place is full. You know you haven't scanned your QR codes. Next Saturday and Sunday you won't be able to attend like you did today. We have some rules. Frankly, our rules really haven't changed. Please don't come to the temple. But coming to the temple is better than foolishly going elsewhere. Some people have been practicing Dhamma for a long time, 10, 20, 30 years. But haven't been practicing intensively enough. If you are determined and single-minded about it, there should be attainments by now. The Dhamma that the Buddha taught doesn't exceed the abilities of regular people. He taught things that we can do. Whatever requires extraordinary abilities, he omitted. One master who was an expert in scripture recitation, he told me that everything found in the Tipitaka was meant for practice. We can apply it all. It is contingent upon us, after listening to the Dhamma, whether we manage to apply it or not. There are two levels of the Buddha's teachings. One is teaching ethics to householders. This is good, that's bad. Do this and you'll prosper. Do that and you'll regress. It is the truth at one level. Like if we hang out with the wrong people, our lives will degrade. The first directive in life is to stay away from bad people. And the second is to befriend the wise. Befriending bad people is a vice, and vices are the doorways that lead to ruin. Like with addiction to gambling, our life regresses. The Dhamma the Buddha taught is the truth. But do we follow the Buddha's teachings? If we practice sufficiently, after a while, we will get results. At the world level, the Buddha teaches how to be happy in this world. And at the liberation level, he teaches morality, samadhi, and wisdom, developing vipassana meditation. If we practice seriously, diligently, and utterly focused on it, day in and day out, without quitting, you will see within yourself obvious improvements. I was once a layperson like the rest of us. I knew just a few types of people. One type wasn't interested in practice or religion, just immersed in worldly things. Another type enjoyed coming to temple to donate food and their time. There was a minority who enjoyed temple but came to learn and then carried out the practice. And the smallest minority, indeed, practiced diligently without quitting. There are many grades. When I look back at some of the people I have known for decades, some are old and weathered. Nothing good sticks to them. Some have money, but they have no morals. no virtue. They aren't happy old people. They're all nervous and shriveled up. Their lives are joyless. They spend all day complaining that the kids don't call or visit. They sit there lamenting about their kids to others. When the kids finally come, they scold them. In the end, no one looks their way. They do it to themselves, thinking selfishly and solidifying defilements as their foundation for so long. They're never satisfied with whatever anyone does. Those that enjoy the temple and charity, they can reflect on it and feel happy. When looking at pictures of the temples they have visited in their life, it pleases them. When they die, they pass in a cozy delusion. They are deluded, but in a good way. They can go to happier realms. They were happy in a happy realm even before they died. Similarly, those who go to suffering realms are already there prior to death. They are irritable and displeased by just about anything. Those who have done lots of good are lighter and cheerful, especially when they reflect on the good. Even when their temple friends have passed, they think positively about them. They were good people and they helped out at temples and they have likely moved on to a better place. With such thoughts, these people feel happy. Whether they actually went to heaven or not is another story. Those who have practiced Dhamma for many years, after a while, they feel satisfied with the benefits they have achieved. And some don't progress further. That is still commendable. But those that I mentioned who keep up the fight, as long as there are still defilements, they keep plugging away, never satisfied with the results. They fight to the death. When such people look around, they have almost no peers. Everyone trails behind. But these are the happiest people of the bunch. Life is fulfilling. They don't feel starved. Most people that haven't practiced to their fullest, their heart is hungry. It wants this, then it wants that. And each time there is wanting, a struggle appears inside. Where there is a struggle, there is suffering. It's just a matter of a lot of suffering or a little. Those that have practiced all the way, seeing the truth of life with crystal clarity, they see nothing in this world is substantial. This world is merely our body and mind. These five aggregates are our world. There is nothing other than suffering. The five aggregates are a burden. That which is a burden oppresses, is suffering, and not anything beneficial or special at all. Once we feel this way, the heart releases its grip on the five aggregates. The heart is no longer hungry. The heart that sees the truth of the five aggregates is free of desire. Not seeing the truth of the five aggregates is called not knowing or ignorance, avijja. Seeing the truth of the aggregates, the heart has knowledge, vijja. It will end all craving, all its hunger. The heart is starving because it doesn't see the truth of the body and mind, of mental and physical states. It thinks the body is beneficial and special, and the mind is beneficial and special. Therefore, it wants the body and mind to be happy and wants the body and mind not to suffer. Wanting arises. If we practice single-mindedly, learning within the body and mind without quitting, one day there will be an epiphany. We will understand the truth of life, understand Dhamma. The understanding takes just one moment, one blink of an eye. I get it. This body and mind are suffering itself. They are not beneficial or special things. This is knowing suffering with crystal clarity. When there is this clear knowing of suffering, the heart eliminates the cause of suffering automatically, and it eliminates craving automatically. Let's have a good look at the wanting and craving that we are immersed in all day. We'll see that it comes from wanting this body and mind to be happy and not to suffer. For example, wanting many women is wanting the body and mind happy. Wanting stacks of money means we want the body and mind to be happy. We believe the absence of money prohibits happiness. All the diverse desires we have boil down to wanting the body and mind to be happy. However, once it is crystal clear that the body and mind are suffering itself, once that is known with certainty, attachment to the body and mind is over. There is no feeling that we want the body to be comfortable all the time because we understand that the body is suffering. It is foolish to want something that is suffering proper to be happy. It is not knowing or ignorance. Knowing the truth of the body and mind, wanting will not arise. It is knowing suffering with crystal clarity. The cause of suffering is eliminated. The cause is wanting or craving. When wanting is eliminated, there will be no more hunger, no more struggle in the mind. The heart will attain genuine peace and happiness. Nirvana, the cessation of suffering. When suffering is clearly known, its cause is eliminated and cessation is experienced in that very moment. That moment is the knowing of suffering, elimination of its cause, experience of cessation, and the path has reached fruition. The Four Noble Truths of suffering, the cause, cessation, and the path, all four jobs are successfully completed in that very moment. All four tasks are completed in an instant. The Dhamma of the Buddha is absolutely astounding. When we implement the practice, we see the truth just as he taught we will. Suffering will bounce right out of our heart. Only suffering of body remains. The body still gets old and sick, sometimes very ill, and sometimes while still young. But the mind sees that as ordinary. The body suffering is normal, but the mind that has trained well doesn't suffer along. The Buddha taught that the well-practiced mind brings happiness. The well-practiced mind is fully developed in morality, samadhi, and wisdom. In the end, knowledge replaces the ignorance that doesn't know the truth of the aggregates. This body is suffering proper. Not wanting the body to suffer no longer occurs. Wanting the body to be in constant comfort doesn't occur. Because the mind is smart, it knows such happiness and wanting is foolish. That foolishness or stupidity is ignorant. Similarly, wanting the mind to experience but happiness, the five aggregates have no choice but to suffer. If we reach the later stages of the practice, but not yet the end, we'll see the body is suffering, but we'll still think the mind sways between happy and unhappy. That's what we'll see. Happy at times and unhappy at others. But once we have practiced thoroughly, we will know that the mind is suffering itself. It is the mob boss of suffering. It is what suffers the most of all in existence. Nothing is suffering more than the mind. Those who haven't practiced the end still think that we can train the mind to be happy. We practice morality, act generously, meditate, study, and analyze Dhamma scriptures and higher Dhamma, and we feel that the mind is content. This means that we haven't seen the truth of mind. If we practice Dhamma to the point of seeing the truth of mind, we will know the mind is suffering itself. The mind is grouped in the consciousness aggregate. The Buddha taught the five aggregates are suffering. The mind appears as a happy thing only for those who are deluded, who still have ignorance. At the end, the practice comes back to the mind itself. At the first stage of understanding, the mind contemplates and sees the world clearly. It lets go of the outside world. It moves inward to the body and mind. Then, wisdom cuts deeply into the body. It knows the body is suffering proper and releases the body. Then it contemplates all the feelings and sees the mind itself is the only reliably happy thing. All feeling states sway. Then we try to create wholesome and beautiful states to maintain happiness. The mind will practice deep meditation and jhana, and we will believe there is so much bliss available in certain states. But if we keep at it to the end, we will see that even entering jhana is a burden of mind. It will release all states that it previously sought, even the most sublime ones. So let's stop there, and we'll continue next time in part 2. Thank you.